I bought a rectory. Who does that? Oh. So this is week 1 of me in the house. I've been here for a full week now, and I'm gonna be honest, it was a little rocky of a start. But before I get into all that, I'll back up for a bit.
You're probably wondering how I got here, and to be honest, I'm kind of wondering the same thing myself. After 2 years of quarantining and working from home out of our small bungalow in Chicago, I was ready for a really big change. I follow cheap old houses on Instagram along with millions of other people, and while I didn't find this property through that account, I was definitely inspired to take on a larger scale restoration project, like many others who do find their properties that way. I spent the last few years building up an arsenal of restoration knowledge, and I'm really excited to put all of that knowledge and hard work and love into such an amazing property as this rectory.
So my name is Tracie, and I recently moved to Quincy, Illinois. I was living in Chicago. A lot of people started questioning their life choices during lockdown and the pandemic, and I was one of those people. I knew that I wanted to ultimately get into home restoration, and I didn't feel like I could do that in Chicago. Bought a rectory / former convent here in Quincy. The story of the purchase itself is a little bit of a miracle, which I'll talk about later. My first idea when I actually knew we were going to close on the house and knew that it was a done deal, my first idea was, well, I kind of want to branch out from Instagram, and I think a good way to do that is to just do kind of a weekly vlog of me living in this house, my projects that I want to do in this house, some house tours, a lot of house history. Basically, I moved into an empty house. I brought almost nothing with me, and the first thing I had to buy when I got here on a Sunday evening was a mattress. So I did that. I think this is a great time to do a house tour while the house is almost completely empty, and you can see the space and I can talk through the plans that I have for the space. A little bit about the projects that I'm planning on doing right out of the gate. I'm gonna do the kitchen. Usually I like to live in a property for quite a while to get the feel of the space, but the kitchen, that's probably the one room that I have already used the most, and I just need it to function better. I need it to not be so gross. I feel like I'm learning from a few of my mistakes with my last house. I still own a 1924 bungalow in Chicago, and we were going to save the kitchen for last, basically, because it was going to be a huge project. And then we lived with it like that, you know, in its near original / 1950s state when it was last kind of updated. We lived with that. We're still living with it to some extent, and I spend so much time in my kitchen because I love to cook. Why not just do the kitchen first so I can enjoy it for the rest of my time here, however long that is. It might be the rest of my life, so yeah, the kitchen is the first room on the list. It doesn't need as much work as my kitchen in Chicago, which is why I feel pretty confident that I can come up with a plan and execute it this summer. Fingers crossed, because I'm basically doing this work by myself. My plan is to build my own boxes, order some appliances, and I think the layout, I have a few options for layout, but basically I'm going to be working within the existing footprint of the kitchen, and I have a few tweaks that I think I want to make, but for the most part I don't have to move any windows, I don't have to remove any walls. I'm literally just giving the kitchen a refresh, installing some new appliances, putting together some better storage solutions, and the only appliance that I'm adding that we don't currently have is a dishwasher. I'm keeping the sink. It's a great double drain board sink, the perfect size, and I love it. I even like where it currently is. I feel like that's maybe one of the only places that it could be. We'll see. I don't have a tape measure, so I can't really do any measuring. The only tools that I was able to bring with me were like a socket wrench set and a pair of pliers. So at the moment, this first week in the house, I've literally just been walking around room to room, just trying to take in the space and imagine it with furniture even, which has been really hard. And the kitchen is really the only space that I've been able to get any concrete ideas about at the moment. So anyway, I think that's it for the first video. These are probably just going to be short check-ins. And then whatever big update I have about the work I've been doing. So far, my only update is I've been vacuuming. I also have a back porch refresh that I've been planning, so I've ordered some things for that. The mosquitoes here are really bad, so trying to figure out how I can do that without just soaking myself in bug spray every time I want to go outside. I'll wrap this up, but I'm Tracie. I bought a former rectory, former convent in Quincy. I just moved in. I'm excited to be here, and I hope if you're into this sort of thing, I hope you follow along.